Among all of these people who have made it a priority on a Wednesday afternoon to show up in Pittsburgh. Thank you for all the out-of-towners. I am so appreciative of everyone who is fighting these issues in their communities, be it here in Pennsylvania, to New York State, to West Virginia, to across the country and across the world, because this really is a systemic problem. But I'm afraid to say, here we are again. We've come to confront the same robber barons about their dirty practices. And when I say dirty, I mean dirty. They've been scheming and using every trick they've got. They have politicians, large environmental nonprofits, and academics singing their praises, while the people are left suffering in their mess. Despite clear warning signs alerting us that big energy is no good, their siren song sings our debt-stricken communities into their traps, from which there is no return. Sorry, I lost my place. Yes, we are wise to reckless greed. We know that drilling in Marcellus Shale means catastrophe for our region. Appalachia has long been suffering under the tyranny of King Coal, and is fighting to save the mountains from being blown away for profit. Now, coal country is lined with derricks for shale gas drilling too. The connections are undeniable. From longwall coal mining in Pennsylvania and mountaintop removal in southern Appalachia, to coal mining on indigenous land, to offshore oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, from natural gas pipeline projects in Oregon, to coal-fired power plants in Chicago. The industries are clear that profit is their motive. Drilling means money for the bosses. They do not care that it spells disaster for the rest of us. We must confront the gas industry's lies and challenge their propaganda. We must be alert, prepared to defend ourselves and those beside us in this struggle. We are awake, and we're here to shut this capitalist circus down. Too often told that we need natural gas. They insist that we can shift our dependencies from one dirty resource to another. It is not enough to adopt coal-fired electricity instead of gas when coal extraction is killing our neighbors. Worse, we cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated into believing that any of these industries are actually environmentally sustainable. Though these industries parade themselves as green, it is clear that the only green they care about is the green in their trust funds. We must recognize that so long as these companies hold the power, we'll be subject to their control. They tell us that we need natural gas, that it will need to happen somewhere, that some communities will need to be sacrificed. They tell it that it has always been this way, and this is how it should remain. But we don't need to sacrifice our neighbors and ourselves for their profits. We must reject the idea that our past will write the story of our futures. And speaking of histories, we must acknowledge that systematic marginalization and oppression of communities has left some more vulnerable to exploitation than others. Poor, working class, rural folks, and indigenous people long ago learned of big industry's exploits. We must recognize their histories and support those who have been made voiceless for so long. We must hear and honor their struggle as we are becoming increasingly aware of our own. Our region is being blasted apart by day and fracked apart by night. NGOs and elected officials compromise with these industries and insist that there must be some safe way. But there is no safe way to frack a well. No regulation can guarantee our people's safety or stop the VOCs from rising off the frack pools. No regulation will stop the flares from burning their grime into the air. No regulation will keep radioactive waste trucks from traveling the same routes as our school buses. The DEP is simply overwhelmed, underfunded, and ineffective at their job. Their 24-hour emergency hotlines ring without any answer for help. We have on our hands an industry who doesn't follow the regulations already in place, And we also have an ineffectual government agency that can't even admit to its own inadequacies. Yeah. Sorry. We have to continue to organize and build power in our own communities while we build solidarity across the region. There is no longer an acceptable way to worry about only our backyards. This is truly a systemic problem. It's time to say no deals, no compromise. These industries are failing us, and it's high time we take our power back. We don't need to invest in big industry stopgaps. We need to invest in sustainable solutions for communities. When we resist gas drilling in our communities, we're joining a movement to stop climate change. We're joining a movement to defend equal access to clean water, clean land, and clean air for all people. The time is now to make our demands. We are joining a movement against false solutions and developing our own solutions that will carry us into a truly sustainable future. We know our enemies, and they are quaking in their boots. We've got them on the run, and we won't stop till they do.